Ladies and gentlemen, there has been something a little bit crazy happening over in the Twitter space recently, and that is the ongoing war, the ongoing battle, the conflict of wits between the Honkai Star Rail community and the Wuthering Waves community. And boy, oh boy, has this populated in a lot of spaces, and it's the result of some pretty dumb things and some pretty silly comparisons. And, you know, as somebody that frequents these platforms and loves watching stupid people fight, why don't we go ahead and start breaking it down a little bit? We've got this post by Raj over here. If you know who Raj is, I'm sorry for you. He's pretty much one of the more premier rage baiters on the platform, but his responses are done to further incite an ongoing conflict, not actually create a new one. And so this is almost like a bit of a recap of what's been happening with the situation over here with some embellished facts. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. HSR players seem to be bored with their game, so let me give them a reality check. Yes, WuWa has less character interactions compared to HSR because WuWa's story doesn't have bloated dialogue and gets to the point instead of the yap fest that is Honkai Star Rail story. Let's just look up somebody that plays the game, right, as a job and uploads footage. And I quickly just want to take a look at, right, how long these gameplays are. 3.4, 5 hours and 27 seconds. 5 hours and 11 minutes for 3.4. 8 hours for version 3.3. What do we got for 8 hours and 25 minutes for version 3.2. When do we get to 3.0? 7 hours and 30 minutes. Guys, do you know how far we are right now? It's over a day. Yeah, it's almost like 20 plus, almost 30 hours right now. All right, what about 3.0? Oh, that's 10 hours. The total count right now is over a day. You could watch, I think, every movie that's in your movie theater. Like, you could get, like, the all-day express pass at the movie theater, watch everything that's currently playing right now, and it would still be less than the entirety of the 3.0 arc. And the 3.0 arc isn't done yet. They still have more that they're trying to do and more of a story that they're trying to tell. And so with that in mind, I do think it's true, especially when you look at the duration of, let's just look up Wuthering Waves, and we can see how long the Wuthering Waves story actually is. The whole 2.4 quest is 4 hours and 18 minutes. 2.3, 1 hour and 48 minutes. 2.2, 3 hours and 36. 2.1, I mean, it's like, I think it's like 4 hours total, counting the story quest. And then 2.0 is about 7 hours. So yeah, it's pretty clear and cut at this point that there are way shorter quests in Wuthering Waves that are way more to the point and respect your time a lot more at a baseline. Because a lot of people might be talking about how 3.4, right? This update, it was so peak. Well, you had to go through over a day of garbage to get there. And so, imagine you've been eating shit your entire life. Or sorry, imagine you've been eating shit for the past 6 months, which is how long Enforced has been out. You've been eating poo every day. You've gotten used to the taste of poo. You start even liking poo a little bit. And then, out of nowhere, you're given normal food. You're given normal food instead of the shit that you've been eating for the past 6 months. Of course, you're gonna say it's amazing. Of course, you're gonna say it's the best meal that you've ever been served because your senses have been dulled. Your taste buds have been mutilated by the fact you've been eating shit, which has been Honkai Star Rail 3.0 to 3.3 for the past 6 months. And so yes, 3.4, which is, I imagine, just an average story, is going to feel godly in comparison because you've been getting used, you've been acclimated to garbage for over half of a year. So yeah, I think that's really just the truth of the matter. That's why I don't trust anybody's opinion about 3.4 in the first place, because guess what? How could I trust the opinion of somebody who has been essentially conditioned to get through and absorb garbage for the past 6 months? And that's the unfortunate thing about a story like this. That's the unfortunate thing about Honkai Star Rail's story reputation after this, is that you know that anyone that actually played 3.4, well, what did they do to get there? So that's just my take on the entire matter. I think that's the take that most people have, because I think that the fall off of players, the number of people that quit because of Amphorius' story, because of the pacing, because of the bloated dialogue, it's insanely high. This is just a post by Raj. This is just recapping the situation, talking about some of the stuff going on. Let's see the actual posts themselves that triggered this. And this is what it is over here. This is where stuff gets a little bit crazy. Somebody just made a joke about Imperator in both games. This is the Imperator in Honkai Star Rail, and in Wuthering Waves, right? This is the Imperator in that game. It's a Sentinel, the other is Farina after Halloween. Somebody responded by making this joke over here. Amphorius. And then they show a fat ass book that nobody's probably gonna read, or everyone skimmed through the pages. And then they're gonna show a smaller book. Amphorius, if Rover was there, and locked the fuck in. And boy, oh boy, this thing got about 54.4k views, only 400 likes. A lot of people weren't happy with this one. And a way you can check that out is just looking at the quote retweets of this bad boy. I'm convinced your favorite anime of all time is High School DxD. His ass would have died. Reading the replies cured my depression. I'm from... Okay. This shit would be so boring because we'd essentially have to forego character bonds and associations for harem slop. Y'all get called comparison waves for a reason. Please let the Star Rail players enjoy their game without the asinine self-inserts. They've managed to reduce the argument to A. The initial argument is, Honkai Star Rail story is too fucking long. It takes literally too long to get through. And the end result is that people lose interest and don't have fun with it because there's too many words that do absolutely nothing. And they have made the alternative world. Whoa! You're saying the story's too long? That just means you must want harem slop, where all the characters, they only talk to the main character. This is the narrative that's currently occurring at this moment in time. All that's being stated over here is that one set of developers do not respect your time. And there's literal proof of that due to the fact that these individual story quests are longer than 3 to 4 movies. The individual story quests themselves, they're longer than actual AAA games. And you could get the same exact story experience. It would actually probably be way better if they cut down on the amount of dialogue bloat, on the bullshit animations, on the actual garbage that they put into 3.0 and every single arc beyond it. They would be able to make a way better story experience if they had simply tried harder in the drawing room. And that's all this post is about. But of course, right, as it is in the most shilled communities, as it is in the most defensive communities, what makes the most sense over here? To construct imaginary arguments out of nowhere and use that to defend the game, or actually use what's in your game to defend it. And boy, oh boy, what do you think all the people in this quote retweets did? They manufactured and created arguments that were never made in order to defend Honkai Star Rail having the longest story, the longest and the worst story in gacha gaming. Because guess what? It's true. It's true. And there's a reason why so many people have no idea what's going on in Amphorius. All they know is that they don't like it. I think that's the majority take from a lot of people in the gacha space. They don't know what's going on in Amphorius. They don't care. All they remember is that 3.0 was one of the worst experiences that they've had in gacha gaming, and so they just don't like Amphorius as a whole. It's that simple. And boy, oh boy, it's the same thing like with ZZZ's TVs. Amphorius' story filtered the player base for Honkai Star Rail, much like ZZZ's TVs filter the player base for that game. And the only people that are left are those that are, by all measures, kind of irrational. And you don't have to take my word for it. This is the future that I see going ahead for this game. Y'all see that? Oh wait, Twitter won't let me zoom anymore. Probably because it's a critical blow. Let's just take a look at this real fast. That's what I see in the future. Because one of the things that make a game hard to stream on Twitch, one of the things that make a game hard to view on Twitch is when the community is a bunch of insufferable, annoying, ridiculous, clueless bastards. You try streaming this game on Twitch and you're gonna get the most boosted individuals in gacha gaming. And what we're seeing firsthand is that the pacing of Honkai Star Rail, the stuff that it's done to filter its player base, the only people that are left playing this game and commenting on it are CCs that are making money, and the same exact boosted player base that makes up ZZZ's active viewers. And these are some of the most irrational people you could have ever met in the space. And that is the majority vocal community for these Hoyo games. And my gosh, why do you think there are no new CCs coming to Honkai Star Rail? Why do you think Honkai Star Rail is only losing creators? Why do you think ZZZ is also only losing creators? Because nobody wants to interact with these communities. Nobody wants to interact with these communities where you can just make a joke about Amphoreus being the longest story in Gacha, which it literally is. This is a 10-hour patch, and then they start making up stuff about incels, master love, all of this stuff, when that wasn't even the point. The point is that nobody does anything in these arcs. It takes forever to do something, and they've managed to pivot the conversation completely because, of course, they can't accept what's wrong with the game. They need to make up some bullshit defense for it. And boy, oh boy, guys, the defense has been crazy. Somebody made an entire 1 minute, 41 second AI voiced loop to talk about what would have occurred. And you can see they've been learning from HSR. This thing is full of yap as well. Just look at the amount of text. Look at the amount of text that they needed to convey what was gonna happen. So yeah, that's why you'll be seeing posts like this. That's why this whole situation is coming up. Because Honkai Star Rail players, they feel like they're under attack. You state facts about their game. You state objective issues that are going on with its development, with its story, with its pacing, with its future, and you'll get attacked in the most unreasonable ways possible. Because the responses here, ladies and gentlemen, they're not reasonable. They're not reasonable at all. They're in defense mode. And that's really the kind of thing that can only happen when you know the state of your game isn't very good. Put this one as well. What is this one? You can just tell that whoever made this video was absolutely experiencing some kind of unfathomable and unquenchable anger after seeing that Rover in Amphoreus meme. It's incredible that this was even able to exist. You know what? Honestly, after an intro like that, why don't we just play it?
Rover, if he was in Amphoreus.
Gulp, where am I?
Rover, we have been waiting for you at turns. Now you are the only one who can save us and all of Amphoreus. By the way, when you weren't even fucking born, you somehow managed to fix us all and all of our problems. And now all of our—
It's garbage. As you can see, it's garbage. And this is what somebody decided to make a whole 1 minute and 41 second clip of this instead of playing Honkai Star Rail, because the patch probably sucks. So yeah, that's that. That's what people are doing. And this is the other thing. Yeah, the guy didn't get paid to make this. Yeah, he's not a content creator. He didn't make money doing this. He did this for free. And so you can't even use like that excuse in this situation over here. Maybe adding the skip button was a bad idea to Honkai Star Rail, because now people are going to realize, damn, when I'm not spending 10 hours on a garbage story, there's actually not that much to do in this game. And so maybe that's why maybe we're going to see more content like this from the HSR community in the future. This is going to be the new meta for HSR, because everyone's just going to skip the story patch because they don't even like playing it either. And now they'll have more free time to shitpost and defend the game on Twitter. Boy, oh boy. Wonderful time for the space. That's why you're going to be seeing a lot of posts regarding the ongoing discussion between these two games. Just know that one side is arguing with facts, one side is arguing with objective things that occur, and the other side is arguing about subjective, unrelated things to defend their game. And I wonder which side is more legitimate, the one that's growing players or the one that's losing players. And I know a lot. I know a couple of games by a certain company that are losing players. Let me know what you all think, ladies and gentlemen. Peace.